All right, check this out. You're reading that right. If you're following along, we're going to do this. It's all a lie. Now, follow me. I'm going to be very nice. Give me just a few seconds so I can... I'm going to tell you about what I just tried to do. I'm asking help from my higher power, who I choose to call God, to bring through my brain, created as a computer, because their whole concept of the computer comes from us. But what has been given to me and suggested to me, and what I have went over, and what I have read, scanned, researched, listened to, and all that, I ask in a 5-second lapse that my higher power can bring it all to the surface. That's a lot of information. It's a lot of information. But when we look at our daily lives, okay, and when we tie in TV, all right, television, we tie in computers, all right, we tie in sports, you know, we tie in everything that's not this, reading. Because see, for a long time, if you were able to read, reading was all you could do, and study the heavens. That's it, you know. And this is what the whole concept of inputting, you're uploading literature, history, stories, and different stuff into your brain. But see, now there's no difference, because in the old days, people reading and educating themselves would fill their mind, which is your temple, up with information, you know, that's down here. Now what we do is this is gone. We're going to wipe that out. That's basically gone, because we only read what's on this. You know, we read whatever sports. I mean, we take this shit right here. That's our life. That's everything. Then, out of all that, we put God second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever. Because what we're doing is we're uploading other people's ideas, concepts that they want us to be driven into. Because television is only telling a vision. And see, we have Hollywood, all right? Hollywood, if you cut that in half, you've got the holly tree. So, and then the Druids, which are still around, I guess. They say they killed them all, but who knows? But the Druids would stand in the 6-pointed star. Let me draw one a little better. That's the Walmart logo. The Druids would stand, or sorcerers and wizards and shit, stand in the middle of this, or the pentagram, and they would use a stick, sort of like this. This is a piece of wood from the holly tree, okay? But what they would do is you sculpt your scepter, your wand, and then you know, a lot of the ones would have a pine cone up here, because it represents what? The pineal gland. The connection that we have, it's gone now. And what they would do is they would use this stick from the holly tree, stand in the middle of the hexagram, and they would cast spells. We have spelling words. Cast spells and put a hex on people. And what's happening now is it's the same setup, only a whole lot worse. Satan is still using this same system of holly tree wood, Hollywood, California, because they're using the television, the computers, which is based off us, sports figures. They're all fake. inside of this is Walmart's logo. This shit's everywhere. It's everywhere. The pentagram. And what they're doing is they're still doing casting spells on us. We have spelling words. Words are very deceptive. We have a language now that is very degrading to human beings. And when somebody like me from the hospital bed, in the midst of this satanic design that we love so much, is telling you we've been lied to. And everybody that gets threatened runs the same way that an animal runs when it gets startled. And those are facts. When we hear something, or the animal hears something, it startles them that they don't like, and they run. It's the same behavior. But when we're looking at this, and see, this is the whole thing is this. In order to sell all this as real, you have to throw in pharmakia. And if you can Google this, you have to get involved. It is sorcery. It's what that is. That is that. And that's not good. And seeing pharmakia goes back to Circe. So Circe can be, this is ours. The zodiac is ours. But Circe, circle, because you have more animals than anything in the zodiac. So circle, Circe, you go to the circus to see the animals. This is the zodiac. Where do you go? You go to the zoo. Zodiac. Zoo. See, that's my whole thing with the words. See, they're it's magic. See, I'm showing you where it all is before we even get going. And people will say, nope, that's not it. We just need to forget about hearing that. And it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of indoctrination of others' visions through tales, which would be what? Which would be Disney. Y'all need to understand something. Let me say this. If you actually care, that shit right there is what's turning the children. That shit right there is Satan. That's what that is. And who pushes that shit? The television, Chick-fil-A, and all them. They're all bad. They're all in this pimping us out. Okay? But when we live a lifetime, because right now we're generationally into this shit now. There I am cussing. Let me regroup. I want to address a very educated, worldly educated IQ of individuals that have no idea about real reality. The people around us, controlling us, created this, the phones, all that. The phone, this was not given to us out of niceness. This was given to us to create habits and to distract us to the end goal, which is total world domination by total control. And what I mean by that is everybody documented. We're already slaves. You don't know that. After the Civil War, when this became a corporation, you had to be a citizen, had to be having a citizenship, And that's the whole thing, is it's a ship. And on this ship, we can worship, we can have sportsmanship, businessship, friendship, relationships. All the words with ship in it. It's because we're underwater, hypothetically. Because when we're looking at this, from the opposite of the globe, when maritime admiralty law is applied, that means if we're looking at this from, we'll say this is Earth. We're just going to say this is Earth. Don't worry about anything else. We're looking at it as geocentric. So on Earth, you're going to have some mountains here and there, right? And then there's going to be water everywhere. Well, out here in the water, you're going to take shit. Here's America. Here's Europe. All right? They can't go around the globe because it's not fucking real. But anyways, instead of going around that way, it'd take forever. So the East Coast right here, over time, the goods coming to the East Coast, everybody was capitalizing right there. And as it went inland, it got more expensive. Shady shit happened. Well, here comes the corporation now after the Civil War. They're going to handle all the maritime admiralty law. Because the Vatican over here is in charge of all of it. And in order to have maritime admiralty law, which Walmart is maritime admiralty law, martial law, and all that shit, you have to raise the watermark. So what they're going to do is inland here, they're going to raise it, we'll say 2,000 feet. I don't know what it is, but hypothetically. So it's raised 2,000 feet. So all the way across, doesn't matter what land it is. See what I'm saying? That watermark is the level of maritime admiralty law. So all land is controlled by the Vatican, by the Roman Empire. Okay? It's the 7 empires combined. It's what it is. And fuck, who knows? It's the same, dude, it's the same bloodlines. They own everything. They own the families. They own people from birth. We've already done videos showing you where Kobe was designed around 5/1, 1978, May the 1st, which is the Bavarian Illuminati's anniversary of their birthday. 5/1, which goes back to Diocletian in 303 AD to 305 AD. And on May 1st, he abdicated or whatever. And then Adam Weishaupt, we did a video on that shit. I don't need to get going in that direction. But our whole point is this right here. This has been our life. It's been sorcery. And under sorcery is this, vaccines. You know, vaccines corrupt us. I mean, dude, look, the modified foods, you know, all this stuff, this modified foods, sugars. I did a video on this. All this stuff, it destroys our minds. But this is the main goal. It's telling a vision, getting into our brains, because they gave us the sorcery to get in there, and our whole life we've been taking vaccines and all this shit's running through our fucking blood, and it's in our mind now, so it's easier to control us because we've been doing this forever. Yeah, everything we see on there is fucking it's sick. It's sick to see people so they want to believe Satan. It's real, Matt. Wrestling's not fucking real, but it is. Do you understand? It's scripted. It's all scripted. Everything. And it's going to lead me into this. Probably a year and a half into this. Going to a bunch of meetings, I met some people. Sort of like selling drugs. You meet people. When you're selling drugs, you know, and you sell a lot, you meet some good people. Finally, you're not good, and then eventually you get better at whatever you do. Then people are like, man, you can move some shit. You know, but people saw my study ethic. And I've been told that they ain't never met nobody who fucking studies. Now, I might not grab all the information because my brain had been damaged. But I was willing to learn. I wanted to learn. You know, and I'd heard a guy on a video. This is when I'd been first suggested to stop watching the TV, because these people know. They should stop watching TV for a year and start listening to some lectures and different stuff. And there's a pull that you have away from the television and from that technology, because it's all you know. What do you mean it's not real? It's right there. That was me. And then I took the suggestions, you know, and I could feel, looking back now, there's a pull there. You don't want to come out of the world. You want to stay in the world. You want to do the opposite of what Christ tells you to do. You want to stay in the world, even though he says you can be in the world, but not of it. And we're in it, of it, and everything. But I'd heard a guy on a lecture. He said, at the beginning, he said, it's all a lie. And I remember I was walking off doing something, because I really wasn't listening, but that's what I heard. And I walked back in there and I was like, what did he just say? And he goes, it's all a lie. And that's where my journey really and truly began. Because I listened to, you know, an hour and a half of it. Because to get better, you've got to cut that shit, make yourself listen to lectures from old. You know, Walter Veet, Manly P. Hall, all kinds of different people, religions, listen to them. Listen, there's garbage in there, but there's good. You got to learn how to make the puzzle fit. Because you'll once you get out of it, you can see it. But when I heard that, that's whenever my journey began, I guess. Because I started out as a rough ashlar, as they say in these masonry or the secret societies. You like a rough stone, you know, it's just all rough. And over time, it's going to be polished up and eventually, you know, alchemically turned into whatever. There's all kinds of different ways that they do this shit. But when we're looking at America, all right, when we're looking at America again, here's the Europeans, here's America. They was all over there because the Roman Empire sent his army over here to slaughter all, whoever was here. And then over time, people started coming back over. But these secret societies, the Roman Empire looked at this land and looked at the land as a rough ashlar. You know, and on not making it better, but to make it fucking self-destruct eventually. You know, through poisonous foods. They've got, it's on record of them saying that they're going to kill us by putting poison in bags and putting nice coloring, attention-grabbing things. You know, that's going to grab your attention. They're going to rot our teeth out and all that. And they did. And they pushed the Coke because they own everything. Coca-Cola is not good. It's not good. It should be fucking regulated. Like alcohol, because it destroys children. It destroys their teeth. You know, all this shit that we're allowed to do is not good. It's not good. And who capitalizes? The careers. You got to go back and watch my videos. See, the careers are built around our demise. Oh, that's a choice. No, it's fucking not. Not when it's pushed over and over and over and over and over and over. They push the chocolate and all that shit and the caffeine drinks and the pizzas and the fucking sex everywhere to ever. This is what I'm saying is you accept the lie. It's a lie that it's being pushed the way it is. These gas stations have nothing fucking positive on them. Nothing. Nothing. People get mad at the Indians or whoever, black, white, more Indians than anything, say, well, you know, they get this and this, but who allows them to do that? Your government. They allow them to come in, doesn't matter who it is. They allow those structures and stores to be set up. They allow them to sell the shittiest alcohol that causes more family fucking problems than anything. They sell speed pills, modified tobaccos that have created the lung industry, institute death and all that, even though your government pushed the same news, the same side that's pushing this COVID shit was on the fucking TV saying cigarettes were good and make you lose weight. And what did the dummies do? Oh, yeah. They said they're natural. You know, they take control of that. See, we're living a lie. We are in a communist fucking world right now. What you see is real. But we can come out of it, but we're not going to. Because see, even with the gas stations, you know, all that chocolate and shit in there, you know, water, they make a lot of money off of water. And they could have made containers out of hemp a long time ago before the plastic and all that other shit. They could have been making containers out of hemp. And if you throw that shit out, it just goes back into the earth. But when you make, you know, plastic, it takes longer to degrade and shit like that. But still, these people make enough money off of taxes and everything that we should have water delivered to our house. Every house, that's jobs paid for by the taxpayers' dollars. That's alkaline and everything, loaded with it. You know, from spring wells that are around the communities. Instead, we've got metal fucking pipes running everywhere. And the old timers will say, there ain't nothing wrong with me. How do you know? How do you know you haven't shortened your life? How do you know that we didn't used to live to be 120 and 30, maybe even older? Because of the food that's from the earth that's electric and magnetic. But yet now they've made society make you believe that, oh, the eating from the earth's bad. You don't need to do that. It's like, what? You know, what's the smallest section in grocery stores now? The produce section. You know what's the biggest is the shit foods. And do you know what the shit foods have on them? They have labels on them that says heart healthy on substances that are modified that you consume because of the fake experts created by the Roman Empire who created all this shit to put out there to tell you, you brush your teeth with fluoride that decalcifies your pineal gland. You know, We need fluoride, but not the kind that you're thinking of. Okay? And the more that we consume all this with the alcohol and stuff, the more that we kill our connection to everything that we have. Because we've accepted a lie that we just exist magically. How do we exist? How do you breathe? How do I move? Explain. Well, I can. Your pineal gland and pituitary body gland, they're connected. The pineal is connected to the sun and the pituitary is to the moon. And the claustrum is up here. There's pia matter, gray matter up there. It's made of potassium phosphate. And the more that we consume this shit, the more it destroys the potassium phosphate within our claustrum, because that fluid comes out after it comes up from the sacral and the solar plexuses, and it comes out of the claustrum and branches off, one into the pineal and one into the pituitary. And then it comes down. The optic thalamus is in here. It comes over the cerebellum, comes over the medulla oblongata, comes down the vagus nerve, the pneumogastric nerve. It branches out and it goes through your anatomy. It comes down the spinal column. And then as it's going down to the spinal column, it goes down, spinal cord, it goes down to the sacral plexus. And the sacral plexus, I think, has got like 5 pumps or some shit. It's pumping. There's a thick oil that comes from it. And then the solar plexus is a thin oil. Comes from up here. And when you're 12, there's a psychophysical seed developed in the solar plexus the same way an embryo is created when a baby is brought from spirit. Soul comes down. Same way, but it's there. And the more that we consume alkaline food, you know, shit from earth, electromagnetic substances that God gave us, that seed ascends the spinal cord and goes up and crosses back over and goes through the cerebellum, over the medulla oblongata into the optic thalamus and sits there for a few days. But it coincides with the moon. Okay? This is geocentric shit. This is real. And at whenever we won't get into that, but eventually that fluid goes back up into the claustrum. And when it does that, when we push the sugars away, the modified foods, the Disney, the Hollywood, the pills, God Almighty, the pills, the sports all the time, the computers, the television, the sex, when we spill our seed, that fluid, every time that we ejaculate, then we waste the seed that's in us and we stay down here. So the more that we're obese, the more that we drink, the more that we watch all this shit all day and worship it, the more that we're down here, the more we'll never fucking see nothing for what it is, because this is the temple of God. This is the church. The same thing that you see out here, up there, what I mean rather, is in here. All that up there is here. You know, Orion's the optic thalamus. Pleiades is the pineal gland. It's insane how we're connected, but that makes us run. And see, we're not running on all cylinders. That's why we believe it all, because this has been our life, our whole lifetime. We've been under a trance. We've been under a spell. We're under black magic and sorcery. They have eradicated everything that's for us. We don't even know about alkaline. People with cancer is like, yeah, I got to find some alkaline water. And I'm like, you know what's sad? You know, and people talk to me about cancer when they've gotten it and how people are just sitting there like it's a business, like, there's my car, like a used car salesman. It's because it's about the money. And see, in these hospitals, they ain't created to help y'all, okay? They're created eventually to take your kids, because this shit's going to be so bad eventually. You know, when they conditioned us with, well, we can't let you go back, but the child can go back. And it's like, fuck you. Well, I'm sorry. Eventually, they're going to say, well, they're infected, so we're going to keep them. And then they'll say, well, they died. And you'll be like, well, where's their body? Oh, well, we burned it because the virus was so bad. And they ain't going to fucking kill them. They're going to take them back and do whatever they want to with them, because this is Satan. He slowly creates his designs. Like the Colosseums are going to be for fucking public lynchings and beheadings and all kinds of shit for people like me. And people, Christians, will be in there rooting it on, because the hospitals were created. It's a Babylonian system. This whole thing we're under. You know, London is the baby of Babylon, Babylondon. Vatican is the spiritual Satanist power of this New World Order. London is the banking, and then America is the military. There's your Trinity. New York State, communist state, the empire state capital of the communist fucking world. Militaristic, that is. You've been lied to. That's my whole point. Everything that you see is a lie. All of it. Because here's... once you get out of this, but you can't because, you know, space, dinosaurs, these are not real. This is not real. Okay? Climate change or control, it's not real. This space is the space in between the zodiac. That's what that is. That's the 30 degrees in between each constellation. These can't exist with the bullshit theory, but I mean, when you've grown up under, because see, when Germany fell, it turned into that. That's all it is. You know, and what did we learn a lot about whenever we were younger? Typing. Boy, we did a lot of typing. You got to learn this. You got to learn. So if you want to look at the truth and accept it, they made us, we were sacrificial generations getting their computers and shit going because they wanted the minds. They wanted the minds to create the ideal for it to get so far and then them to come in and take it just like Satan does and then be like, yeah, thanks. Because they couldn't get there without the help of us. Valedictorians are the ones to stand out so Satan can put them in their universities, United States, United Nations, United Catholic Church. And the universities are Saturn. They're Saturnian shit. It goes back to Rome and the Roman Latin Cardinal, College of Cardinals, whatever it is. But it's what it is. You know, and why wasn't this pushed as much as computers and typing? You've got to ask yourself. This, why? Dude, seriously. You can't control, I mean, seriously, if they was going to control anything, it should have been this, because look at where we are. Dude, we are fucking crumbling. And it's funny how nobody can critically think to how technology and everything, gadgets and all this, is not controlling society. And how when they push these so fast, we got to get them in everybody's hands. Children got to have them. Knowing that we have 8, 9, 6, 7-year-old porn addicts now. Yeah, full-blown porn addiction by the time they're 9. That nobody says on the news or nothing. Nothing. More families are separated, getting the money. People have died. Stimulus checks, addicts, alcoholics, relapsed. Shouldn't have never got it. That's by design. It's population control because it's time for this world to go into another direction. And what they're doing is fucking lying because they own everything. It's not real. It's all a lie. Because see, when you don't grow the hemp like we're supposed to and make everything out of it, then we cut all the trees down. So that cuts the oxygen. Okay? So what would less oxygen would create some kind of a climate change. It would create something. Well, they know that. When you cut all the trees down and the dummies don't fucking know anything anymore, then you come in and they know we're not moving. And then you say, well, see, do you see all this shit, man? The car's not, but they created the cars. They created the cigarette, lung fucking death industry, the pills. You know, this shit right here, dude, the pills is the big thing. That's the biggest farce ever. Those are on every corner, the pharmacies. There's so many deaths every day. That controls people. It destroys more families than the alcohol. And then you combine that with the alcohol. It's glorified here, and it's normal. They obey the laws of the land, Matt. Even though if it's fucking disgusting, no, I'm not. I'm going against it because it's a lie. What saved my life? Cannabis, hemp, you know, and natural, eating right. Now, it's hard getting out of it totally because we've been in it our whole lives. And we're not saying to be perfect. But you have to try, you know, 1 step today. Tomorrow, at least 2. But you can't just stay in the same spot forever. But, you know, all the prior list, this is designed to create, you know, imagination in your head, and that imagination, it's a hypnotic rhythm, and that hypnotic rhythm becomes reality. That's why you won't go nowhere else. And you know, people, when they find out the truth, people have committed suicide. So you need to get in that in your head before you either stay in the lie and accept that you're going to the other side with a lying ass fucking mind that's man created, that's full of fear and stupidity and patheticism, and it's not your fault. It takes a strong person to come out of what we're in. It takes a very strong person. And the only ones that truly try are the ones like that the alcohol and the hard drugs or the pills, because the percentage of us is going to be hit. And so that creates the rehabs, the detoxes, the deaths, the funeral homes, the fucking morgues, the careers. The list goes on and on. Money, 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 death, death, death. Cannabis and hemp creates life. It creates real love. When it's legal, totally legal, there ain't nobody shooting each other. They are shooting each other because it's illegal. Then you fill their fucking prisons up. And then they house their inventory. That's their stock and bonds is what they're housing. The prisoners mean money. And y'all can't see that. And you glorify the alcohol and create it so like legal, like hell yeah. And then you get the DUIs, you get the fucking Mothers Against Drunk Driving because your government came in and said, we're going to let y'all just fuck off and you're going to accept it. When it's been flipped, that's my whole point. It's a lie because we're not free. If we were free, it would not be illegal to grow any plant or anything. It would be illegal. Listen to me, in any culture prior to this one, if you consumed alcohol, you couldn't vote or you couldn't partake in like real community activity because they knew what it did. And, and this is where your career and your life based off of only you with nobody else's opinion will say, oh, fuck you. It's like, but you've lived a lie your whole life. You've never questioned. You've never challenged. You've always obeyed just like a perfect slave. Brought up in an indoctrinated system set up. That's why I'm trying to tell you, there's a lot of people, all these big churches know what I'm telling you. It's their job to control y'all. Okay? And I'm putting my life at fucking risk, and I really am. People can laugh all they want, but I'm telling the truth. Okay? And truthfully, I'm probably, because I sent shit in, got those articles, and I'm probably being watched to see what kind of a response people are going to have, or if they're going to ignore it. Because if they continue to ignore it and they're watching, then they're like, do you see? And that it's not a physical thing. Satan is an archetype that comes into your mind, like what we've talked about. And your whole life has been an archetype of Satan. Your 12 grades are based off of the 12 constellations. The 12 steps in AA. We're all in it together. But you've got to get out of it. But Satan's job, it's a real thing. To deny that, then that means you're full-blown Satan. If you can't look anywhere, Satan. If you refuse to look anywhere, Satan. If your whole life is based off of your success, worldly success, that's pride and Satan. In that video, it says, he says 98 out of 100 souls is what I get over here on this side. But see, y'all got grace. And under grace, all that exists. Grace is a fantasy. Grace is the biggest bunch of bullshit. MacArthur, all these Bibles I have over here are false prophets writings. King James Version's right there is pretty decent. But there's still some discrepancies in it. But they're false prophet writings. They're altered century after century. They're altered. And y'all are accepting the lie. You don't want to get out of it. We love fucking superheroes. And look, I ain't dogging that out. Your job now is if you've made it this far in this video, I'll post something, get with me, and send you some links while we can on some symbolism. And you learn the symbols. And then once you watch TV and commercials, whatever, you'll start to see it. You'll see the patterns, and then learn gematria, and then you'll see rituals, and then you'll see, holy shit, dude. There is a way you can see all of it. You can see it all. It's insane to pull that much power back and to be able to see it. Because if enough of us get going, then we can jam people up. We can jam some of these big churches up before we get hit here. We can say, we know you're lying. We know. We just have to make a few signs. I know enough shit, trust me. I got plenty of knowledge on what we just got to hold up right out there and see how long it'll take before they send somebody from within the church or somebody that's connected. And that's what we want. Now, I'm spilling our beans right now, but I'm just letting you know I got a Jesuit mindset, because whenever you bleed them out, then you take pictures and see what cars they roll up in on, check not license plate tag numbers, you know, and we jam them up. So our job from here on out is to try to call what's coming our way before it comes our way, and allow the dummies to laugh at us, even though we're protecting ourselves, and letting them know that I'm no rookie. I know what I'm doing. You know, and I want to say this: if I do die, go to that gematria calculator. Go to it. It'll be around 67. It'll be around 67, 44, 223. You know, because that's a lot of the numbers in my name, and there's some more too. In 143, there's a lot, but it will be around that shit, because we have a connection, and those people know that I know. I know. So I know I'm being watched. I know it. You can say I'm crazy all you want to, but I mean, hell, let me say, we've got probably 70 pieces of evidence against what I've always screamed about before. Let me just say that. And one more thing. These people that have done all this to us, I want to say this to you. You know what's sad about you? I respect you because of what you've done, even though it is evil as shit, but to pull this off, you know, but you want to put out there, y'all want to mock us and show us the death that we have coming, you know, and there's truth seekers out there, but there's not. But the thing is when people catch fire and go to social media, y'all kill them. So when they find shit, and it's like, why? It's not even fair. It's like, yeah, look at this. Look at what we're doing. Oh, you're not allowed to do that, kill. It's like, you're no better than everybody else down here with us. That's the same fucking mindset. It's my whole point. And why do y'all have so much hate? You know, there's a bunch of you, and I know there are. They're all around us. They know. That's what I'm saying. There's families around here that's been raised to bring this fucking thing down. And there has. And you better, if you think you know of somebody around here that's shady, let me know. We need to do some research on them. Because we're going to have to, even if we predict the shit, like, I mean, it's going to not stop. But even if we knew a date for certain or around that date, people still wouldn't. If it's on the news and they're burning shit down, they just jump into it. Because whoever shows up comes in on buses. You know, and you don't see that shit on the news. People won't look anywhere else other than the fucking news because their whole life has been a lie. Anyways, all right, I love you.